Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Game Day Show. This is episode 33. I'm Ethan Bass, your host, and this show is all about college football. Now, sorry we have been absent for so long. We had some technical difficulties with the computer, with the editing software, and the microphone. So we're finally back with the Game Day Show. We took a 3-week break. Finally back. We got a lot of college football news to talk about. Big 12, strong right now. We got Florida, Georgia this weekend, battle of the SEC East. And then we got the battle of the unbeatens, Clemson and Notre Dame. So join me on this one. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to go follow my socials. Instagram is Bass Productions or All Gator Nation. And Twitter is Ethan_Bass15. Thank you. All right, so let's start ourselves off with Clemson and Notre Dame. We got two big games this weekend, Georgia, Florida, Clemson, Notre Dame. We're going to start with Clemson and Notre Dame. Now, these are the battle of the unbeatens, right? But there's a big catch to this since starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence, Heisman favorite actually, other than Mac Jones in Alabama. But Heisman favorite Trevor Lawrence is out because of COVID. He did get COVID-19. So that's a very big deal. Trevor Lawrence is out for this game. And we saw Clemson's other quarterback in the last game. He played all right. I can't even say his name. It's one of the hardest names to say in college football. But Trevor Lawrence is out for this game, so that's going to be good. Clemson's defense didn't look as good last game. They came back in the second half of that game, but in that first half, it was a little shaky. They did come back and beat them. So, and we're going to talk about Notre Dame here. Ian Book is looking mixed. Either one game he's looking amazing, the other game he's looking all right. Which Ian Book are we going to see? I think we're going to see a good Ian Book. This is a primetime matchup there. College game is also going to this, by the way, too. Can't wait to see this. Travis Etienne, holy cow. For Clemson, Travis Etienne's playing very good. Travis Etienne did break the ACC rushing yard. I think he's looking pretty good there. In the last game, he did look really good against Boston College, and he did break the ACC rushing yard, so I think he looked pretty good. He had 140 yards and a touchdown. But DJ, I'm not going to say his last name, like I said, for Clemson, the quarterback, did play very, very good in the second half, but in the first half, it was a little shaky. It was his first start of a big game. Everyone was watching him. So maybe that's see, but we'll see what happens in Saturday Night Lights against Notre Dame. Now, this is going to be a big game. It's going to see who battles out. Is Clemson really that good? Obviously, they have so much 5-star talent on the team, but are they really that good? And can they beat Notre Dame? And Notre Dame has always been the team to choke under pressure. We saw that in the playoff a couple of years ago. So is Notre Dame going to play well? Is Ian Book going to play well? That's what we're figuring out in Clemson and Notre Dame. All right, so the next game I want to talk about is the world's largest cocktail party. Now, there will be no cocktail party this year because of COVID, but the Florida Gators and the Georgia Bulldogs, every year it comes down who's going to win the SEC East, and this year is not very important as like every year. Now, Florida is coming off a massive win over Missouri. They did have a 3-week break due to COVID. They had a lot of outbreaks there. Kadarius Toney, holy cow. he put up a show last game. He had 3 touchdowns, and he was juking everyone. He's one of the shiftiest players in college football. Kyle Trask is getting himself in the Heisman contender. Another game with 4 touchdowns. He's playing amazing. He actually led the game in rushing yards. With 6 carries and 47 yards of Kyle Trask. But he did have 4 touchdowns, 345 yards against a good Missouri team. And, Missouri did put up good, and they did beat LSU, and they put good effort against Alabama. But on the other side of the ball, Georgia needs to figure out their quarterback. Obviously, their defense is good, even though they did lose. I believe they're starting 2 safety. I know one safety is out because of an accident. I'm not sure about the second safety. But if we saw in Florida, Missouri, I'll get to Georgia back in a second. They did have the massive brawl at the end of the first half, and that caused some suspensions to Zachary Carter, which is going to be big. Also, does backup O-lineman, but Zachary Carter did get suspended for the first half of the Georgia game, which is huge since he put a major impact. He's Florida's starting defensive lineman, so we'll see how that impacts the game. I don't think it will impact it that much too much. I think Florida's defense did look a lot better last game. We saw that against Missouri and during those 3 weeks against A&M, Ole Miss, and South Kakalaki. And they didn't look the best defense, but I think these 3 weeks helped Todd Grantham to get these boys back together. And Georgia's situation, Georgia's coming off a win 14-3, I believe, over Kentucky, and not the best win. And Georgia's offense, I feel like, needs to find their hole. Stenson Bennett needs to I don't know about Stenson Bennett because he and like I said before, and he's playing the good side or the bad side. I think he's going to play the good side, like I said. But Georgia's defense is elite. They're elite. I don't think they can pull them through the whole game, though, and if you know what I mean. But Florida's offense is looking very good with Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney, and Kyle Trask looking very good there for Florida. I'll give my score prediction later, but this one's going to be very tight. I believe it's going to be very close. Georgia does have a 63% 8-point chance to win. This is in Jacksonville, Florida neutral site. There's going to be fans for both sides, like you see on the screen there, but it's obviously not going to be packed. Obviously, going to be socially distanced. Georgia does have a minus 3.5 spread, but obviously that can change depending on if any more Gator players do get suspended or if Georgia players have any more injuries, because a lot of Florida players are coming back from COVID. They are coming back. But there's still a lot of people out for this game, which is a shame. But I feel like that Georgia could prevail on this one. It's gonna be very tight, but we'll see how it looks, and we'll see which Georgia we see this weekend. All right, so let's talk a little Big 12, shall we? Texas did beat the unbeaten Oklahoma State Cowboys 41-34 in overtime. Now, everyone's asking, is the Big 12 going to make the playoff? Is Oklahoma State going to make the playoff? My answer is, my prediction actually is no. The Big 12 will not make the playoffs. It's going to be two SEC teams or Notre Dame and Clemson, depending on who wins the next game. But we already talked about that. The reason why I don't think the Big 12 is powerful enough, we see Oklahoma and Texas, they both have like 2 more losses, and they could lose a lot more. But the Big 12 is not looking too good this year. Spencer Rattler in Oklahoma is not looking the best either. He either has on and off for games, but we'll see. So the question is, who are my playoff contenders right now? Well, I mean, I'm putting Clemson. I think Clemson will beat Notre Dame this weekend. I think we go a little closer, but I think they'll beat them. I have Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State. But that 4th spot is key. And, we have so much contenders. We either got Florida, Georgia. I mean, depending on who wins this game. A&M is a big dark horse. Look out for A&M there. If they went out, but they don't make it to the championships, Alabama's probably just going to make it. Obviously, they're that good this year. Watch A&M make it to the slide into the 4th spot on that one. I mean, they're a very good dark horse this year for the playoff spot, for that 4th spot. Georgia and Florida, whoever wins that East, has a very possible chance of winning. They would have to beat Alabama though, since they both have 1 loss. So that's very unlikely since Alabama is just too good this year. But other than that, we have Notre Dame. If Notre Dame loses the Clemson, close one, and then they lose again, but then they beat Clemson, they're in. But then the question is, Clemson also in? There's so many different scenarios for that 4th spot. I mean, probably Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama are obviously going to probably be in this year. But that question is that 4th spot. Now, let me know in the comments what you think of that 4th spot. Who do you think is going to win that 4th spot there? I'm either thinking Florida, Georgia, or Notre Dame. Penn State's out. They already lost. I know Florida and Georgia both lost, but they both lost to very good teams. Penn State lost Indiana in overtime. That's not a good loss there. But Ohio State, I think, is going to beat Michigan. Michigan already has a loss. Minnesota already has 2 losses. What is this? Big Ten season. Defenses are down this year. We'll see who gets the 4th spot. I think it's either going to be Florida, Georgia, or Notre Dame, because I don't see Penn State winning out. I don't see Michigan beating Ohio State there. I think Ohio State's going to make it. So we'll see. All right, let's start off with some game picks. Let's do it. So number 11, Miami does play NC State. Super excited for this one. I believe they play on my Friday night. I'm actually pulling NC State on the upset. NC State has been very sneaky lately. Zach Knight's a very good running back for NC State. Watch out. But I think the Air Kings are playing very good. But I think NC State's going to win in overtime. I think this game's going to overtime. I have NC State winning this one. I can go either way. I think this is a big upset. I think Miami loses, proving they're not that good. If you know what I mean. All right, BYU Boise State. Now this one's gonna be an insane matchup. Zach Wilson. Oh my God, Heisman contender right there. Number 9 BYU's taking on number 21 Boise State. BYU's cruising. BYU can even sneak into the playoff for no stake. Would BYU be good for number 4 contender? Would they get their butt swept? I don't know, but Zach Wilson putting up a Heisman contender season. He's playing insane. Over 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Are you kidding me? Zach Wilson's playing very good there. Boise State's always playing good with Justin Sears. at quarterback. He has 291 yards, 3 touchdowns last game. But he's a little more Russian quarterback there. But this game's gonna be very close. BYU does have a 52% chance of winning with a minus 2.5 spread, but upset alert. I'm having BYU on this one. No, I think they're gonna prevail. Michigan and Indiana. Now these are two Big Ten teams that Michigan's 1-1, Indiana's 2-0. And could Indiana make a playoff push and beat Ohio State? I don't think so. But I have Michigan getting the comeback here. I think Indiana's done. I don't think they do have the good talent. Michael Penix Jr., holy cow. He's so athletic there if you saw in that Penn State reach. But I am Michigan on this one. I think they'll prevail because they do have more talent on that one. SMU Temple. I have SMU. There will be a lot of upsets. I have SMU. They do have a 74% chance of winning, minus 17.5 spread there. I have SMU playing this one. Temple's not that very good. 6-1 SMU. They're going to be 7-1 because Temple is not a very good team this year. Arizona State USC. This one's gonna be very close for me, but I have USC. I think the Pac-12 is back. By the way, forgot to mention that. Should be a good one. We're gonna make the playoff. We'll discuss that next weekend, next podcast. But USC, Arizona State, big one here. Pac-12 opening. I have USC. I think they're gonna play good this year. I don't think Arizona State's gonna play good. USC does have an 87.1% chance of winning, and they are 21 in the nation. West Virginia, Texas. Now this one's very confusing. It can go either way. Texas says you look good with Sam Ehlinger in the pocket, 11 touchdowns, or they look very bad with their defense struggling a lot. I got Texas in this one. I have them moving up to 5-2. I think they're going to prevail. They're very good for Texas. Liberty, Va-Tech. Va-Tech has looked mixed so far, like always, but I have them beating Liberty. Even though Liberty's undefeated, this is a Power 5 team we're talking about. This is going to be tough for V-Tech. Virginia Tech is going to win this one. UMass Marshall. This one's very close, but I am Marshall. I thought about this one. It could be an upset, but Marshall does have a 99.4% chance of winning. UMass does not look good. Maybe an upset, but I'm not calling it. I think Marshall's going to beat them 56-0. I'm dead serious on that one. Houston, Cincinnati. I got Cincinnati. I think they're playing very good. I think they're in the same position as BYU. Two playoff dark horses there. I got Cincinnati. Purdue, Wisconsin. I have Purdue winning this one. Wisconsin starting quarterback is out, which is a bummer. He is out for 3 weeks. He has COVID. So Mertez is out. Wisconsin's backup's going to have to step up. I have Purdue winning this one and going 3-0, staying undefeated and getting moved up in rank. All right, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. I have Oklahoma State getting a bounce back there. Kansas, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going to destroy them. Kansas is one of the worst teams in college football this year. Texas, A&M, South Kakalaki. This one's going to be close. I have A&M pulling out this one. Kelmon has looked fantastic. The rushing game for A&M looking very good. Jimbo Fisher's team looking very good this year. Baylor, Iowa State. I have Iowa State. Baylor not looking too good in 1-3. They were pretty good last year, but they lost their head coach. Not looking too good. Rutgers, Ohio State. Now, Rutgers did get a win, their first Big Ten win, but Ohio State's going to destroy them. It's Rutgers. Come on. Stanford, Oregon. Now, the big question is, will Oregon make the playoff? I don't think, unless a miracle happens, I don't see Oregon making it, just because the Pac-12, they don't really have anyone besides Oregon. And Oregon, even if they do go undefeated, they don't have that much to prove. They're only playing 6 games. I have Oregon in this one. South Alabama, Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina's on fire. They're 6-0. I have them winning again against South Alabama. Very fun team, by the way, Coastal Carolina. All right, so this week we have 2 game of the week. This is presented by North Broward Prep Eagles. We have 2 very good top 10 matchups here, 2 games to watch. Let's first start with the earlier game, 3:30 on CBS. The world's largest cocktail party, Florida, Georgia. Who's going to win this one? I got Florida by a field goal. I'm a little biased here, but I got Florida on the field goal. I don't think Stetson Bennett will play good at all. I think their defense is good, but they're starting 2 safeties out. Really do hurt them. I have Florida by a field goal, breaking that 3 winning streak. But it's going to be very tough. This can go either way. I mean, I was leaning on Georgia before the season. Now I'm leaning Florida just because Stetson Bennett not looking good. But they may bench him for JT Daniels. JT Daniels could be coming in. But we'll see how JT Daniels playing because I believe he hasn't gotten that much playing time. I do have Florida this one, a very, very close game and a very close spread. So this one's going to be very interesting. Watch that one, 3:30 on CBS, must watch. And right after, we got Clemson, Notre Dame, 8 NBC. This one should be also a very good one. I got Clemson. Now, Clemson's defense will prevail Notre Dame's offense. Ian Book has looked good. I mean, even though Trevor Lawrence is out, that DJ kid did look pretty good. I'm not going to even say his last name. But that DJ kid did look pretty good in the second half. I think they'll struggle. I think Notre Dame will prevail a little, but then I think Clemson will prevail and win the game. Thank you all for joining us on this episode of the podcast. Sorry for the wait. Make sure to go follow the socials. We'll see you all next week. Thank you.